Hey, it's Annie. Today I'm going to share a really easy painting technique. It's kind of like a wash. As you can see, I started doing it on this. But let me tell you why. I actually started doing this tutorial yesterday, filming it. And the paint that I have underneath here was green. So when I started doing this technique, the paint on top started coming off, and then you were seeing the green, and I didn't want to see that. And I know the reason why it wasn't sticking is because I was messing around too much. I was mixing paint with some other things that probably had different components in it, and I think it did something to the paint so it wasn't adhering as well, because that's how I am. I mix things up and experiment and never know what's going to happen. You know what I mean? That's how I roll. But anyways, I'm going to show you how to get this look. So if that ever happens to you, this is what I did, okay? So I stopped and I applied a matte top coat, okay? I wanted to use a matte on top of here. So I applied a matte top coat, I let it dry. Now I'm going to go back and do that technique, and the paint shouldn't come off. So if that ever happens to you and you're doing this technique and you're like, oh, the paint's coming off, stop. Do the water-based top coat on it, and then you can go ahead and finish doing your piece, okay? So I like this look, how it looks kind of old. It kind of gives it like a weathered look, I guess, and just softens it up too. So I'm going to show you how to do that. It is so simple, it's ridiculous, really, okay? So I'm going to wet my paintbrush. I have a big bucket down here with some rags. And I'm going to dip it in my paintbrush. Probably can't, yeah, you can see me, okay. So I'm going to dip it in my paintbrush. Then, you're probably going to freak out when I do this, but it's going to be okay. So I just do little sections at a time. And I just kind of slop the paint on, kind of like that. I'm going to get my brush a little wet again. You don't want to have a lot of paint on it, you know, like thick paint. You kind of want it light, okay? And then I'm going to take a rag that's just an old rag in water. And then very lightly, I'm going to start wiping it. Kind of blends it in. Let me stand on this side. Okay. Don't worry if it gets a little drippy, it's okay. Get in there and get it right away because it will dry fast. Kind of have to work sort of fast on this. That's why you want to do a section at a time. Okay. And don't be afraid, like if you feel like, oh no, I took too much off, it's okay because you can go back and add more, okay? So it probably looks from far away like I'm rubbing hard, and I'm not. I'm just a very gentle touch. I'm even putting some of it down here. Kind of step back and take a look at it. I know I have to go in here because you can see it's not finished there, but see how that's looking? Kind of gives it a really pretty, like a weathered look, I guess. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit more. I know you're not going to want to watch me do the whole thing because it's kind of boring, but just so you get an idea of how easy it is, I'm going to go over this little part right here really lightly. And then I'm going to take my rag and just, I thought I got paint on me. I'm not wearing my painting clothes. I usually don't. Stupidly, I don't. I'm just going to go down here and add some here. And I'm just going to work around that little knob there too, and then I'm going to take it off. Okay, then hopefully you can see me doing this. Just gonna, you just want to have a really light touch with your rag, okay? It's not a soaking wet rag, okay? It's damp, but it's not soaking wet. You don't want it drippy wet, okay? And This is so, oh my gosh, it's so cool, guys. Because I'm doing this on top of the varnish that I did, it's actually starting to crackle on me, which I love. Now, normally I don't do that. I normally don't add a clear coat on it. I usually just do it over the paint, but because, like I said, it was coming off, I thought I would try this, and wow, I love it. I'm actually starting to see how it's starting to like crackle a little bit. It's totally cool. I know you can't see it from far away, but I can see it close up. Okay, so here I go again. I always have to fix my shirt. I feel like, you know how it is with jeans sometimes, you know? I don't need to be showing my butt. All right, so this, I don't know if you can see all the way down. Yeah, you can see. So I just slap it on. You don't want it too dry. You kind of want a wet brush, okay? But you don't want drips either. So if you start getting drips, make sure you wipe it up, okay? Because that drip will probably stay there. Okay, so a little section there, and then we're going to go ahead and take our rag and we're going to start wiping. It's almost like a dry brush technique, I guess, but I don't know. I feel like I have a little bit more control with this too, and it just gives it even a softer look. I don't really want, I don't know. I was going to say I don't want brush strokes. I don't think you could really see brush strokes in it. It's just really pretty. It's just a really pretty weathered look, I think, you know? I really like it. Okay, so there I need to add a little bit more water and blend it. So I'm going to dip my rag in the water, wring it out good. Because like I said, you don't want it really, you don't want it drippy wet, okay? And I'm even bringing some of this down here. You can see. Really simple to do, guys. It just gives a, and in some of the areas here, you can see how some of the white got in there. I think that looks really cool too. This is so easy to do, and so like you can just work with it. You know, like I said, if you're doing it and get carried away with the paint, you can wipe it off. If you're doing it and you wipe too much of the paint off, you can add more paint. It's not a big deal, you know? Really easy to do. So like I said, I really want a really light touch here. I know it looks like I'm pressing hard, but I'm like being very delicate, okay? And just trying to keep my head out of the way so you can see. Just, that's it, guys. That's it. So I'm going to keep working on this piece, and then when I'm done, I'll show you the finished piece. So I'm going to show you a little bit more, and this is a little closer up so you get a different view of it. So again, I'm making sure that my brush is wet. I'm dipping it in my paint, wiping it off, and let's see if you can see. I'll do it down here. I'll start here. It's kind of dry. I'm going to get my paint needs to be a little wetter. Can you see that? It's a little drippy, so I'm going to work fast here because I don't want it to look drippy once I'm, you know, once it's done. I'm going to take my rag, and I don't know what that noise is outside. I'm going to fill this in right here. But this you can totally play around with. This is, you can't make any mistakes with this, guys. You can't, okay? So easy to do, and it's just such a pretty finish on this. I'm going to share some photos of this on my vlog as well, and maybe I'll try to insert some at the end of this video too, so you can kind of see. Okay, now I'm going to get my brush a little wetter here and just kind of, see, you're just slapping the paint right on, okay? Slapping it on, but then you're taking the rag and really gently wiping it off, okay? And you're wiping off enough that it just leaves a really pretty, just a really pretty finish and look. And like I said, if you wipe off too much, go back and add a little bit more. It's no big deal. This is like something that's really easy to work with, you know? It's just really easy to do. You can't see it on camera, but what's really cool is any imperfections you see, some of the white settles in there, and it's just like so cool. So let me back this up a little bit. Let me back this up slightly, and so you can kind of see. You can see the part that I've done and the part that I didn't do. Let me do my lighting here because, there we go. Just made it a little darker so you can kind of see. All right, so I'm gonna keep working here. I'll do a little bit more so you can see. Hopefully my head's not in the way. Let me see. Ah, sort of is. Okay. Do this. Put my head in the way. I'm going to rinse my rag off a little bit more. Remember, you don't want to use a soaking wet. You want to wring it out pretty good. You want it damp, but you don't want it drippy wet. And then just start wiping it down. I really like this technique a little bit more than just dry brushing. I just think it just gives it a softer look, I think, you know. And once it dries, it's going to lighten up some more too. And you can do whatever. I mean, if you think this is like too much of a light color, you don't like it, then keep working at it and wipe some of it off, you know. But once it dries, it's gonna not look as intense, you know. So, and I'm just going straight down. You can't see, but straight down. Okay, I'm going to keep working and I'll show you pretty soon. Okay, sorry if you hear a dog outside barking. There's nothing I can do about that. So this is my finished piece. I don't know if I'm going to seal it on top of it. I kind of like the way it is. I don't always seal my pieces. I just don't. If they start to get distressed naturally, I'm cool with that. So if you wanted to, you could add wax to this, or what's even easier is to add a clear coat. So you could do like a matte coat. I almost said coat. A matte coat. That's what I would use. I wouldn't use a gloss on this. But I think it just created a really pretty, kind of like an aged patina, I would say. I don't know why, but this looks very French to me. Kind of reminds me of that, I guess it would be called that pickled look, that furniture. I don't know if furniture is like that anymore. But it's really, really pretty. So easy to do. So I hope that this video was helpful to you. I really hope that it was informative. If it was, please make sure that you give this a thumbs up for me. And if you're subscribing, thank you so much. If not, then just click that button below, subscribe, make sure you hit the bell so every time I have a new video out, you will be notified. And I try to do new videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and on my channel, if you are new here, just letting you know that I share painting tips, DIY, makeup tips for women over 50, fashion, skincare, all that. So it's really a mixture of everything. So I hope that you enjoyed this. And oh, you can also follow me on the blog, whitelacecottage.com. Excuse me, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. I will leave all the links below. I'll leave the links below too for the paint that I use. This was Heirloom Traditions white, no, a la mode. It was Heirloom Traditions a la mode on top. That's what the white was. I think I forgot to mention that. I'm sorry. And the base coat was Mocha. So I will leave that in the section below so you can check that, okay? Thank you so much, guys. I hope that you enjoy this, and I'll see you next time, okay? Bye.